We let's do it. We used to. I want to respect Rob's time as he's very busy. Today is his book launch. We're going to talk about this, but I want to give you a little tip real quick on learning. And the tip is that Rob's going to come on here and he's going to talk about things that you haven't heard about before. And many times that, in a sense of learning, it's like we tend to rebel, we push it away, we go, this is different, it's challenging my norms, it's challenging my ideals. But what you understand is that people have achieved higher levels of success, have done things that isn't normal, isn't within our current realm. If we knew it, we would be there. And so what I want you guys to do is not challenge mentally, says, just write it down. Get yourself a notepad. There is a psychological connection between taking blue pen if you're a follower of a blue pen, and paper, and writing down some notes. And the learning scale goes, if you hear it, you'll learn it about a 10-20%. If you write it down, you are immediately ramping up your educational potential to about 80%. And if you take that information, you turn around and implement or teach, 95%. Rob Sperry, should we read his bio?
Yeah, go ahead and read his bio, and then I'm going to tell you a little story about me and Rob.
Joel's going to tell you a little story, and then we're going to get into bringing Rob on here, who we're so excited. But Rob Sperry has been recognized by top publication Business for Home as the #1 trainer for 2017 in the network marketing industry in his first year in the industry. So he was doing something else. Someone invited him to a meeting, sent him a webinar link or some process. His first year in the industry, he reached the highest level in NewsScan, a multi-billion-dollar company. Conquering new heights, Rob became the co-creator of Mint, which is a spin-off of a $3 billion company, and launched with millions of dollars in sales in the first month. After the success of that company, Mint, Rob was instrumental in bringing two companies together, thus creating one of the largest mergers in the history of the industry. Due to his expertise, he's been featured in national and international books, podcasts, blogs, articles, and magazines specific to finding success in network marketing. If you haven't shared this yet with an affiliate link, you are missing out.
Yeah.
So get your pen ready, because Rob is fantastic. I'm going to love on him, then Joel's going to love on him, and then we're going to bring him on. Rob is, I would anchor to a brotherly type person who is just caring. His 5 children, loves his wife more than anything in the world, and he can tell you about some special traditions he has with her. But Rob is just an incredible person. When the first time Joel met him, he's like, you got to meet this Rob guy. Then I meet Rob, and I'm like, Rob's awesome. And I just had just a wonderful experience getting to know Rob. And we couldn't think of anyone better to kick off this new sort of network marketing training series. And so with that, I'll pass it over to Joel
Yeah, I'm excited to tell you guys about this, because this is all awesome stuff, right? This the fact that he's been able to merge companies, be a top producer, $3 billion with a B, that is so cool, but quite honestly, that's not the stuff that impresses me and has attracted me to Rob. Now, that helps. That definitely helps. His success is awesome. But the fact is, I only deal with, and you guys have heard me talk about this on other lives, hopefully. If not, they're there, right? You can go watch them. But I only deal with people that have the same views that I do, okay? I don't have time to interact with people that are not 100% either ahead of me or progressively thinking more than I am, or, right at that same level. And Rob is just a genuinely good person, okay? He's not out to sell anyone or screw anyone. He is one of my mentors. I don't even know if he knows this, right? But Rob's taught me everything I know about network marketing, okay? Grady and Rob combined, I have a master's degree, a PhD in how this business works, because he is so positioned, so networked, and everyone loves him because he genuinely helps. And he has helped me and our business and Online Sales Pro to the nth degree. Like, you couldn't even tell people, and that's why I'm excited to have him on as one of our first guests of these series, because we got other great speakers that have awesome, powerful things like this. But my relationship with Rob and his just human nature of being kind-hearted and wanting to help people, he just really puts you in a soft, warm, cozy place. Even if he's telling you you're doing it wrong, he does it in a professional manner. And I love Rob Sperry for those things. And he really has taught us at this whole corporation the meaning of a personal relationship and being with one another and helping them no matter anything else that's happening. And That is what has sparked our business. So Rob, before you even get on, I want everyone to know this guy you need to listen to, okay? Grab a pen and paper. You need to get this book. I'm excited about, I'm not even all the way through the book, to be honest, because I just got it, right? I just got the media special, and we're going to talk about it. It got released today, but I've made it about 100 pages, 82 pages in, and that's one of my favorite pages. So we're going to talk about that soon too. But Rob, we appreciate you.
Bring him on now. Here we go.
Come on, man. I want to tell him a big hello and thank you for everything he's done. The man himself, Rob Sperry. How are you, dude?
I'm doing great. It says I got promoted. So
yeah.
I like that. Promoted to host. I'll take any promotions that I can get from you guys. And I feel like you guys just built me up bigger than life. I'm like, geez, I got nowhere to go but down now. What am I supposed to say to all of that?
Well, it is true. It is fact. You have helped us, and we do want to publicly thank you in front of everyone, because your leadership, your guidance, your knowledge, your expertise, these have all been things that have crafted everything we've done, and the relationships we've built are absolutely powerful. And I hope everyone out here in Facebook land, replay, live view, or whatever, somehow gets to connect with either Rob or someone like a Rob Sperry in their life. And I think great things will happen. So thank you, Rob.
Well, I appreciate that. And one of the things that we all know, cliches are cliches for a reason. That usually means that there's something that is of huge value. And it really is true that the value of the law of association, which is something we all know. And so for me, I'm a collector of friends. I'm a collector of people that I like, people that I trust, people that I just know long term I want to do something with. And I know that all of us have always had that mindset of, hey, any way we can help each other in anything. And that's what's been fun, because I know that you guys are two of those guys in this industry that I know 100%, if anybody comes and does anything with you, they are going to be taken care of, and you guys are going to go above and beyond. And so I really appreciate that. I know we've stayed in contact over the course of years, even when we've done nothing business related at all, just to say hello and just to say, hey, what's going on and what's going on in your business? How can I help you? And then, same thing, you guys would do the same thing to me. How can I help you? What's the latest and greatest? And so I appreciate you guys being on. I didn't know this was your first interview as you guys are starting this new process. And so I feel honored to be on, and anything I can do to provide value, I'd be more than happy to do so.
Well, we actually weren't starting it until August, but you said the book and our Tuesday, timing is everything. So we bumped him right up to the top, and we're super pumped to have you here. And we've done some interviews with some clients, but to bring in outside, expertise and pretty much our inner circle and introduce them to our members, because this is the guidance that we've received, and we want to provide nothing but the best for them as well.
Yeah. So awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming over. Like Joel said, we had it pushed out, but if we could give a little back to you. So to introduce you to who about 120 people on here right now, they are a good chunk of our clients, and a lot of people may be looking into what we are, or we send some push notifications, emails, events, et cetera. But we were so excited about this because we cater in the industry of online marketing, industry of lead creation and app development. We focus on the beginner market, and our focus on that is, well, from a business standpoint, there's a lot of beginners out there, but from a deeper standpoint, is if we can help people long term learn how to generate leads or learn how to improve their business acumen. When they get to that level and they come and they're doing better, they turn around and they go, online sales pros who helped me get to where I am. Online sales pro taught me these principles in the beginning, and that is fantastic for us as business people, but it creates retention, reduces attrition, all important things in business. And so our audience here, I would say the majority are emerging entrepreneurs, right? They're excited about the promise, and we have over 200 at last audit different network marketing companies represented using Online Sales Pro software. In addition to that, we have realtors, insurance agents, mortgage brokers, many people in so many different small businesses. And so that's why we really felt that your content and mindset could just kind of sharing, because I know you built, reading your bio again, I read it when I got the book, but the highest level in the new skin in the first year, you had to have been an enrolling machine. You weren't scared of the phone. You weren't scared of following up. You had no reservations. You had no call reluctance. And that sometimes is all those things I just rattled off is what keeps so many people from actually succeeding, because they're afraid of what other people think. They're afraid of stepping out of their comfort zone. They're afraid of, is this, is something going to happen? And so I'm not sure if you can speak to that a little bit.
Yeah.
Just maybe how you coach your newcomers and your beginners. What are the principles and things you maybe want to help some of these new people who are like excited about the future, but they just, their unemployed brother-in-law is chirping in their ear, you're not trying that network marketing thing, are you? Right. And so I just would love, and I know that they would all love to hear your perspective on how to just, when you're getting going, but how to keep going.
Yeah. Well, I think kind of first off, one of the things I was just thinking about what you were saying there, Grady, is you said, okay, you were a top recruiter in a multi-billion-dollar company, and you went and just made it happen. You didn't have reservations, you didn't have fears. And actually, I think I was as scared as anybody. And I think the reason why that's important to understand is I think a lot of times people think either I'm good at this or I'm not. And one of the things I love about what you guys do is you guys mix modern day techniques with technology and systems with old school timeless principles. And that's what you guys do. And a lot of people are too just modern, and they take away from the old school principles, right? And other people are too old school, where they don't mix the modern day new systems and technology that we have to help. And so when I started in this business, I called one person in my first 2 days because the phone weighed about, 400 or 500 pounds. And every time I picked it up, it would fall down. And I was like, this thing is just so heavy. And then I would call someone, finally I started calling people, and I would just be like, please go to voicemail. Please go to voicemail. Don't answer. Because I was so scared to go to voicemail. Yes! They didn't answer. And then they'd call me back 20 minutes later. I was like, oh crap. I'm busy. I didn't want to answer the phone. I'm like, to my wife, Janae, you need help with the dishes? You need help with the trash? She's like, what's going on? So, I think it's important to understand that. I did it despite my fears because I was ambitious. I looked at it, and there was an essay written, and the essay was called "The Most Common Denominator of Success." And Stephen Covey wrote in this essay, or he published this essay in the 7 Highly Effective Habits, and he said that in this essay, the most common denominator of success is successful people don't necessarily like doing the things that they do. It's not that they don't have the fear. It's that they're willing to do it anyways. And he went through willingness. And a great example of that is Joel. Same thing. It's just like me. It's not natural for Joel, where you guys that know Joel know that he's not excited to get on a Facebook Live as he started it. It's not naturally him, or to even go to an event. But at the same time, his ambition is here. And so he's willing to do whatever it takes. And so when I started in this industry, I was willing to do whatever it took. I called 250 people my first 3 weeks. I had a full-time job. At the time, I had 2 kids. That's before I learned about network marketing duplication, and I ended up having 2 more kids, and I took that way too literally. But I had 2 kids and a wife at the time. I'm working full-time. I called 250 people. Like every spare second I had, there was no TV, there was nothing. I called. I'm not telling that to overwhelm you. You go at whatever pace you want. I'm telling you that to give my reality. About 12% of people said yes. That's not that high when you're talking to your closest family and friends. And it wasn't that I wasn't scared again. I was sweating. I had to create a powerful personal mission statement that I literally read 15 times a day. I put it in my shower. I put it next to my desk. I read 100 books in my first 18 months in network marketing, and studied. And so when I couldn't call new people, and so I just literally was willing to do it. And I think sometimes in network marketing, we promote these really quick, fast stories where people flat out got lucky. And we think that by promoting those stories, it empowers everybody else because, wow, we got these great stories. If they can do it, you can do it. But then all of a sudden, when they don't do it because it's abnormal, right? And it was lucky, there was no process to it. Now they think, what's wrong with me? And so for me, I'm very process oriented, just like you guys are with your phenomenal systems. And so I just looked at it and I said, you know what? In networking, we're not even talking network marketing. that was 95% of this book. And then I catered a lot of it to network marketing. So to answer your question, real estate agents, insurance agents, whoever else is watching this, you can apply these principles to everything. Like 99% of it is applied to everything. And so I said, you know what? I want to create a formula for networking. So I literally went to every leader, every person I knew from the tennis club. That's what was my previous occupation. I went to everybody I knew in network marketing that had been successful. I went to anybody that I knew in general, asked them what's the formula for networking. And I couldn't get a formula. Like, think about that. Have you ever met anyone that can give you a formula for networking? They may give you some good ideas, but a process of this. I found a ton of great books on networking. Again, smorgasbord of ideas. I couldn't find a formula anywhere. And I thought, this is crazy. Everybody knows how great networking is. Everybody knows the value of networking for all aspects of life. We're not even just talking about money. That's how I got my kids into the school that they're at now. That's how I found where we built a house and where we wanted to live. That's how I got my kids into tennis lessons with a coach that's been backed up for 5 years. I mean, that's where I went to Mercedes, and the GM of a couple states here, he gets a deal every year where he has 2 friends and family discount where he gets it at cost. That's where I got my at cost Mercedes. Yeah. So like literally it's everything in life. And I'm like, how is there no formula? So I spent, now it's 8 years. The last 8 years of just taking notes, anything that I read, anything I heard, anything anyone told me on networking. And again, I didn't want to just create a book that was just motivational. And I think there's huge value in motivation, inspiration, but every single law has the first part of why, the value of it. And I try to keep things very simple. We've learned what works is what duplicates. We've learned from Leonardo da Vinci, he says simplicity, right, is the ultimate sophistication. And then the second half of the law of the chapter is all on how to do this, how to do that, how to do this, right? How to never run out of contacts, how to turn strangers into friends, how to make it where if you have any value, people know. And when they have something that, that maybe it would be a connection, they're going to think of you. So it's really just, networking on steroids, or a modern day how to win friends and influence people for networking. And so that would be kind of just a really quick overview.
But you also include the how, which is fantastic, because Grady talks about this all the time. We get trainers that come on, they want to talk about all these wonderful ideas and concepts that without telling you what he calls as a TSI, a transferable sales idea that you can implement today. So this book is full of hows, right? Is that what you're saying?
100%. It's got hows. I'm a process person. I taught tennis for years. I call it collegiate tennis, semi-professional tennis. And for me, it's like, I want to know how. And then also I learned in tennis, I'll give you an example. I could tell you 10 things you're doing wrong, but sometimes if you can fix the most important relevant thing, it can fix 3 other things. And then you have to go to the next most relevant and the next most. So I not only created the laws, but then I kind of went in a process of most relevant on how to help you to be happier, how to help you to make more money, how to help you literally just get what you want. That's what networking is. I mean, today Grady showed me these stats. I didn't even know it. It's 3 p.m. almost my time. And the book now, just today it was released, is number 3 for network marketing, number 6 for self-help books. I haven't done a Facebook ad. My image isn't even there in Amazon yet, because Amazon decides when they want to have it all up and going. I didn't discount it. I haven't done a promotion. I didn't do, if you buy this book, you're going to get this and this and this. It's $20. Everyone told me you have to sell it for $8 or it won't sell. The Kindle version isn't even ready yet. So everything that everyone would tell you you're not supposed to do, I just did. And the reason why it's going okay now is not because of me. It's because of my network. And that's why I tell people people know it's what you know. It's more importantly who you know. And even more important than that is who knows you. And so those are the things of what you know. That's important. It's who you know, but it's also who knows you. And you got to make sure that, you know, they remember and know you. Otherwise, it doesn't matter how good you are, how much value you can provide. If they don't think of you when that moment comes, then you've lost that opportunity. It could be your best friend from 15 years ago, and you're the best suited person there is, but you haven't talked to them for 15 years. You haven't been networking. So even though they're your best friend, they're not calling you. And so you've got to make sure that you always network in everything that you do.
I've talked in trainings before about consistency and how consistency creates relevance and consistency builds reputation. And so it very well correlates to exactly what you're saying about networking. Your consistent process of reaching out to people, your consistent process of sending someone a send out card on their birthday or whichever, and just being in front of, so when the time changes, when Jim, successful businessman whose company downsizes, he goes, well, my friend Rob has always been successful doing something else. Maybe I should reach out to him and see what he does now. And so that's consistency in your business of process has grown your reputation in circles, but also, you know, just us, whenever Joel and I talk about networkers, we're like, well, Rob's one of the best. So it's like, it's that process. So I'm loving this. So is there any, could you give us any secrets, any sneak peeks? Like, could you expand on maybe some of the, like one of the laws that maybe your favorite law, or just a little bit so people can be like, you know, a little sample feel into it?
For sure. So I think the difference between good networkers and great networkers would be law number 3. And law number 3 is the law of recallability. And we touched on this a little bit. And so good networkers they learn how to become likable, and they learn all the laws of, you know, being likable, because it doesn't matter how good you are or you think you are at networking or how much value you can provide. If people don't like you, they're going to try to screw you over, or they're just not going to do business with you. It's just a reality. And so that's great. And then let's say that you can provide a ton of value, and people think of, you know what, well, you know, this person is super, super valuable. That's great. You know, that's important as well. But at the same time, like I was saying earlier, if it's that best friend you haven't talked to in 15 years, then they're not going to think of you. And so I think that the difference between good networkers, because I think there's a lot of good networkers, but I think there are very few great networkers. We're not talking network marketers. I hope you guys understand that. We're talking networking right now. The difference between good and great networkers, I believe, is the law of recallability. And recallability is just awareness. It's finding ways to stand out. It's maybe Facebook Lives are your thing. That's something that I hated doing my first 50. And now it's the point where I just don't think about it. I just do it. But it was literally uncomfortable for the first 50. And I got the sticky notes behind me and a couple like bullet points to look at. And it felt uncomfortable, you know, and I'm like trying to figure out where am I looking? Am I looking at the phone, the camera? You know what I mean? And like I had to find a way to find places where I'd smile and pause and fluctuate that tone and go up and then a little bit down. And so it was uncomfortable. It could be, I think, social media, consistently posting on social media. I think that's important because now they're going to think about you. It could be, for me, sending out holiday cards, right? Hanukkah, Christmas, whatever. You're sending out holiday cards. Grady, Joel, did you guys receive a holiday card from me this last year?
Absolutely.
You better have. So for me, I send out, I don't know how many, over 400 cards. And these are people that I know. I've cultivated those relationships. Again, it's another awareness of what you're doing. And I like having friends. I like staying friends with people. And I'm not just thinking, what can I gain? I'm also thinking, you know what? They may call me and there may be something I can do to help them, because that brings great joy, great happiness. Other things I do, I reach out to 250 plus people a week. And so that's one of the things that I do.
And his principles, he's networked with something just very similar to you. He hits the home on the exact same principles you are talking about, and about cultivating and keeping relationships through simple acts of cards and just remembering special occasions. So when the time comes, they think about you.
Yeah, and it could be text. So I've done it for 8 years now. We're a minimum of 250 texts, or now I've been using Facebook Messenger where I leave, audio messages, voice messages. And they're just simple. I'm just staying in contact. And a lot of times when someone adds me and they're new on Facebook, either I add them or they add me on Facebook Messenger. Now it says new contact. It will show you that. So then what I'll do is I'll just, reach out to them and, make friends with them. And so I would guess last month I went extreme on networking, obviously with the book launching and everything. I would guess I probably had 1,000 messages that I reached out to people of saying hello and how are things going. And, and I'm not even talking business related. Now there are times, yes, when you transition into having a business relationship. Sometimes that's the second time talking. Sometimes you know them for years and it's a couple times. Sometimes it's, the first time. Usually it's not. Sometimes it's 10 times later, but that's a different conversation. But your goal is to be able to make friends. Too many times people are going in and they're trying to go in for the kill, for the close. And it goes with the John Maxwell quote of people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Again, cliches are cliches for a reason. And it's so simple, but successful people just do the basics better. That's it. It's not when you watch the tennis players or the basketball players or the golfers that there's this extreme huge difference in their swings or in their shot. It's they've learned how to do those basics better and better and better. And that's why it's important. You could watch the same exact Facebook Live a month from now, and you're going to pick up something different because you're in a different part. And I'll give you guys something crazy that I never thought of, because these people write these books, and I was always like, wow, how do they write a book? And, for mine, I don't know if mine's impressive because it took me 8 years to write a book, or absolutely pathetic. But whatever, it doesn't matter. It's my story, and it's kind of sad it took so long, but so what? And I look at it, and people, I'm going through the book as I'm going through these interviews, and there are parts in the book, even though I've read the book probably 20 times now, that I don't remember writing. And I know I wrote it. And I went through and my wife's like, yeah. And it's because when you write something that's inspirational, that's why you guys were so at the beginning, you were talking about how important it is to write it down. And I go back and I'm like, okay, and I'm learning from stuff that I wrote, right? Like, which came from other people, inspiration. So it's that ability to learn how to learn as you're going about and doing it. And so it's, it's just interesting. We can always learn from everyone and everything. Sometimes it's bad examples. Hopefully they're good examples, but we should always be 100% learning, and we should always be cultivating relationships, and we should always be networking and finding ways to absolutely stay in contact with people.
So Grady, let me hop in real quick. I want to ask a question a little bit less business side, more personal, which is how I like rolling. You talk about, you're voted #1 trainer, right? So you're a trainer. You merged big business, the largest merger in network marketing history. You're well networked. You travel and work a lot. How do you handle your time management with family? A lot of people out there are at this point online where they're torn. How do I go get these dreams I want while I maintain the wonderful at home? Like, your family is beautiful. Your relationship with your wife, I love watching it happen. You're very open about it, and it makes you even more genuine and real. And I stress this to people a lot, but Rob and his time management is something that he's also taught me about, spending time with the right people, including, family. Family's important. I work a lot, you work a lot, but you always carve out time for your wife and your beautiful children. And you also invite us into that part of your world a little bit. And thank you. That's really cool. But how do you handle it?
Well, I love that. We're always learning. We're picking up different things from everyone. One of the things I picked up from you is how you guys just all put your phones down when you have dinner, Joel. So again, I've got that ability to learn how to learn. I store something that I like. I do not forget it. If something is irrelevant, I can't remember it all. Like, if you ask me how to get somewhere now, because I don't need to remember it because I can use GPS, I am the dumbest person you've ever seen in your life. You're like, you've been there 20 times. Sorry, like, I'm saving it for things that are relevant to me. And so, I've got that stored and stashed. So I've made mistakes. Family's always been the most important thing to me. I think when I started this industry, my goals were so high. I worked hard, but I think I felt like if I worked 80 hours a week and I didn't do, I didn't go spend the time to do this or that, whatever, with my kids, if they had something going on, I felt like I was making the sacrifice that I would be able to deserve more success, right? And that's a principle that there is some truth where we feel like mentally, psychologically, we deserve it. So I was ineffective with my time. And I took a step back and I started looking at a lot of these people that were professionals in my industry and other industries, how they lost their family. And I'm like, I don't want to lose what I'm working for. And so I kind of came up with this concept, and someone else may have came up with it. I don't know. I'd never heard of it before, but everyone always talks about B hacks, big, hairy, audacious goals. And so what I said is show me your minimums and I'll show you your future. And what I mean by that is I think just as important is what are your minimum goals that you're going to do no matter what. And so for me, I set those minimum goals to protect me, to protect myself, to make sure that I was able to achieve the dreams that I wanted. And I didn't try to achieve my dreams while losing everything. And then you get there, like a lot of these people, they become rich and wealthy and they've lost everything that was of value to them. So how I protected myself is at the very beginning, I set certain things. I said, I'm going to do date night with my wife every single week, no matter what. And so I do that. I had 2 date nights last week, as busy as I was. And I've got one set up for this weekend. She's trying to beg me, even though it's launch day, to go see a 10 p.m. movie tonight. And I'm like, yeah, can we like push it off till tomorrow, you know? And she understands because it's one of those, you know, rare weeks, but you know, we love that. I make sure I go spend time with my kids every single week. And I've got that set of exactly what I do, and I play tennis with them. I make sure that I don't bring my phone when I go to church. I go to church for 3 hours every single week. And so I just kind of leave my phone so that I can just be totally laser focused. I read personal development every single day. I haven't missed in the last 8 years, almost 9 years now. I haven't missed one day, like not even one day. I read some sort of spiritual or scripture type reading. I've only missed one day in the last 9 years. I haven't missed 1 week working out in the last 9 years. And so I set those minimum goals. And then we make sure we do a vacation, just my wife and I, every year. And that was added as income started to be added. It was not there the first couple of years. And then we make sure we do at least 2 family vacations every year. I think last year we did 5. Sometimes they're 3 days, weekends. But the cool part is I can still do a little bit of business while I'm gone and that sort of thing. And so I think it's important that you need to set your minimums that you're going to willing to do no matter what in your life. And you just say, you know, and then you need to also understand there are times to sprint, there are times to walk, there are times to jog, there are times to rest. This business is not a marathon, even though everyone says it is not a sprint. It is a lot of short races. And there are times where, you know, maybe you're almost going through divorce. Well, you know what? You better sprint on your relationship with your spouse right now, and your business better take a back seat. There are times when you're launching your business where if you want to get your business going at the very beginning, or maybe you're in a rut and you're like, I got to get it going. You got to go get it all out, get it going for a month. And then maybe after that you can jog and you're not sprinting anymore. And so I think it's also important to take those concepts I just taught with minimums, apply them to your business, set your minimums. What are you going to do no matter what in your business on a daily, weekly, monthly basis? And if you don't do them, you will have less success. And the reason why you have less success is because if you don't do them, you're going to lose trust in yourself. And if you lose trust in yourself, then when you talk to other people, you will not have as much power, because how can you expect them to trust you if you don't 100% trust yourself? And this takes time to grow and process. But Joel and Grady know if I say I'm going to do something, I will do it. I will do it. It's going to happen. I know if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I have that trust. I can convey that trust. So I'm scared to say I'm going to do something because I know what that means. And so I think, you know, that's kind of an all-encompassing principle that will really help you as you guys are going. And you guys figure out what those minimums are and what you're doing to really set that dream life, because too many of us, we're firefighters. You got to be an architect. Stop being a firefighter in your life where you're going to fight every single fire that comes up. I mean, it's crazy. Think how much time we spend planning to go watch, you know, our favorite TV show, or going out to the movies, or we go plan, you know, our favorite vacation or whatever, but then we don't plan out our lives. Like, that's just crazy. And I know, because I've been there, and it took that awareness. I wasn't even aware of it, to be able to start to become the architect of my life. And each, I got a foundation and I keep building upon it. And now a lot of it's done. And so it's like, okay, I like this house I've developed for my life, right? As an analogy. Let's go build a guest house here. Let's go add to the backyard here. You know what I mean? And that's what you do instead of fighting fires.
Be an architect, not a firefighter. I love that. Very cool. So you carve out time for things that are important, including family. And I hope a lot of you find this problem, and not really a problem, but the success in your business to where you're just go, but you also need to remember why you're working for a lot of these things. Because your family and your kids and your relationship, there are a lot of your whys. I mean, a lot of you guys, if I asked you what's your why, that falls in it. So you got to be careful not to achieve such the success that you lose all that stuff. So I love the core principles that Rob does. He reads personal development. He works out. He sets time for date night. He goes on vacation. He's laser focused in his task and accomplishes things. And I hope you guys out there can do the same thing. But before, we got to get to this book and how our members can get it in their hands. And we got to get a link out there. Maybe what we'll do, Grady, is if any of our members,
I have it pinned in the comments right now, so anyone can click the link. It's tgonbook.com if you're listening. TGON book. And Rob, as we've been sitting here, it's already jumped up another 100 as the top books in all of Amazon. So
I'm crediting you guys for that. So thank you.
We're just trying to. Go ahead.
If you go get the book out, OSB land, right? Go get the book. It's $20. If you do, send support a receipt that you did, and we'll enter you into a contest. We'll give away some swag. We'll give away an annual membership. We'll give away an MVP, depending on where you're at. If you're VIP, we'll upgrade you to MVP. If you're monthly, we'll upgrade you to VIP. If you're everything, we'll give you the Facebook ads training course that we have, because on page 82, my favorite page so far of this book, it says current relevant platforms for network marketing, which we talk about a lot. And Facebook and Instagram being 1 and 2, these are powerful things that Rob is utilizing right now, teaching you not only the why, but also the how. And that how is super powerful. So if you go out and get it, we encourage you to do so. Click the link above, below, wherever it is. Buy this book. It will, it may just change your life, right?
Buy 2 copies, buy 3 copies. Anybody that buys 10 copies, Joel and I will give you a 20-minute coaching session. There we go. Anybody that buys 10 copies, Joel. If anyone buys 10 copies, send an email to support, and we will give you private coaching for whatever business it is. And so I'm throwing it out there. I don't know. I want to send
a private message if you buy 10 copies. We'll connect.
We'll pass it on. So I want to just latch on to. I want you to come back to the book, but Rob said so much good stuff right there about family and about the work, and I think that at least this is how I see it, is that it's discipline. And it's Rob, when he's working, he's disciplined. And when he's home, he's spending time with his family. And that is sometimes the thing. It's like 5 o'clock comes and we should go to family time, but we messed around throughout the day on the Facebook and on the Google, and so we weren't focused. So now it's all of a sudden we're working till 6 and work till 7, and then there's frustrations mounting. And I just love the message that he says is that if you're laser focused, when you work your work, you plan your work, you work your plan. And that is just one of the things that you will see in top earners in every industry, is that they're deliberate focus when they're working. And if you guys can pull one message out of here, it's clear your calendar. And if you have a full-time job, 5 o'clock comes, spend 5 to 6:30 with the family, go in your office or your bedroom, lock the door, make your calls from 6:30 to 9, and make that your deliberate focus. Go back out, read your kids some books, put them to bed. But it's that deliberate plan. And I was hearing that, it's been playing, and now let's go back to talking about the book. But I just wanted to
law number 3 of these 3.5 laws that he talks about. Law number 3, the law of recallability and being likable, having that value, that consistency. And guys, I'm just reading you my notes. So if you didn't take notes on this stuff, you're doing yourself a disservice. He stays in front of people, awareness, helping one another, but most importantly, doing the basics better. Just simply doing the basics better. Stop being a firefighter, become an architect of your life. You make yourself that custom dream board, that home, build yourself the future you deserve, but it happens by doing something, okay? This doesn't just happen by talking about all the great things you want to go do. It's becoming laser focused and taking some action. A lot of people talk about the great release. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. They talk about it. Just go out there and do it. Like, it's time to take some action, and getting this book in your hands is going to be one of those things that will give you those whys and hows to go do those things. And I can't thank Rob more. I mean, I hope to have Rob on the show again in some future, because this has been a lot about the book, but Rob's got a lot of other great values and assets that he can bring to everyone that he connects with. So if you're not connected with Rob, you can find him on Facebook. You know, he's a great resource. He's one of the most connected guys I've ever met in this space. So think about that before you go spewing garbage to his Facebook Messenger, right? You know, be accountable to yourself, be professional, and know that this guy and this book, I really think, can take your business to the next level. And that's why we pushed him to the very front of the line. I was happy that it's just timing. Like, we happened to connect on one of our, hey, how you doing calls. And he's like, I got my book releasing tomorrow or in a couple of days. I think this was Thursday last week. I'm like, great, we'll put you in. Like, you're in. That's it. Timing's perfect. Tuesday. It's perfect. So I'm excited. Get the book. Let's put him at the top of the charts. And then we'll get him back here to do a lot more sharing with you guys about all this knowledge.
120 people on live. We got 190 shares. Holy
sharing, guys. Share.
All shares have the link in it. So anyone buys the book, fantastic. If you buy 10 copies, private coaching session with Jay and B.
These are the things that you do. These are the things you do when you have great relationships with great people. Great things happen. Like, I've already gotten messages. Send me your affiliate. There's no affiliate link to this book. It's
Amazon. Go to Amazon.
It's helping you get this book. It's not about making money all the time. You can realize that if you put that in the back seat as position 2, 3, 4, 5 behind your other core values, your business will explode, and you'll produce more with that being number 4 than you would focusing on that being number 1. But
that's kind of what you're saying, Joel. I had a couple top friends. I won't mention names. You know, some of them, love them to death. And these are people that have made $5, 10, 15, $20 million in the industry. And they're like, Rob, what are you doing writing a book? And I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, you know what you're doing? I'm like, what? You're taking content that you could sell for $10,000+ and you're going to sell it for $20. I'm like, that's my style. That's always been my style. I'm like, you provide enough value, you're gonna open other doors and opportunities. And it's just kind of how I've always been. You know, I focus on being an ambitious giver, and in the end, I believe it always comes back. And I fully believe in the law of reciprocation and in karma. And they're like, all right, you're crazy. And maybe I am, I don't know. But it's like, it's not like books are money makers or anything like that. But that's okay. I look at it and I get such great joy and pleasure. And I'm excited. I hope that I can get stories, you know, a month, 6 months, a year, 10 years from now, of people telling me how the book helps them in their business. I mean, for me, some of the greatest stories I hear, I had 3 people reach out to me yesterday that aren't part of anything I do at all. I don't make any money on them, but I coach them for a couple of years, and they're top producers in 3 different companies right now. And they thanked me. And for me, I'm like, wow. I mean, that gives you some definition of happiness. Now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with wanting to make money and as much money as you possibly can to enable you have time freedom to do whatever you want. I'm just telling you, there's a bigger picture than that. People focus so much on money, they end up not making money. And if you focus on the bigger picture of doing the right thing for the right reasons and providing value, you're going to make money. So just chill out and do it the right way, and you're going to be happier doing it. So that's just what I would say.
Money is a byproduct of ethical value created. I heard that yesterday, and I was like, that is a good quote. So
just claim it. Yeah. Just claim it.
This isn't just an ebook. You know, this isn't just a downloadable PDF. Whenever you go through the process and you get 110 pages printed, you can hold it, you can touch it. Maybe you absorb it a little bit more. Like, take notes inside of it, highlight your favorite things, and we'll start to talk about them. But like, I'm proud, man. I'm proud to be one of your buddies. I'm proud to make that list of the holiday cards. I'm thankful and grateful for what you've done for us, and I'm just happy to have the platform to be able to give you the kudos and recognition that you deserve. You deserve a lot more, my man. But appreciate you coming on.
Thanks so much, Rob.
So get the book today.
Thank you to both of you. I appreciate you guys, and we'll be talking soon. I'll see you guys soon. So thank you to everybody for tuning in, whoever spent the time, and I hope that you
throw Rob some love. Thank you, Rob. I want like 100 of them in the comments below, some hearts and some thank you, Robs. And Rob, again, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate you. We'll talk again real soon.
We'll see you guys. Thanks.
Rob. Wow, Grady, how cool is that?
That was amazing. It was awesome. I remember when the first time we talked and you're like, Rob's just so smooth. Like he doesn't go like that's what you'll notice about very successful people is they don't get too emotional one way or the other. Business is great. Okay, let's keep rolling. Let's keep making it great. Business is down. Okay, let's keep rolling. You stay, you know, like ice, right? Your hand, you don't get any twitching in the hand. You just stay.
That's the one thing. Like I've had multiple talks with him about pretty big things sometimes, and sometimes just small things. And quite honestly, he's cool as a cucumber, man. I can't tell whether he's excited, happy, upset, and he's just on point. So everything he says to me, I normally, the way Joel works, I don't know if you guys know this, but I replay a lot of conversations. Like I'm able to store a lot in this, a lot like Rob says, only what's important, but I have this like little rotating area where I recall all my conversations at the end of the evening. Like at nighttime, my mind opens up, it's crazy, and I can recall these things, and I take account and I take note of these things that I wrote down, and I store them. And you use them, and you immediately sound more intelligent, you sound better, but most importantly, when you implement them, the results just start to come. So I'm happy he was able to get on and share a little bit about him, and I'm happy that it wasn't all about business and things too. I mean, it's important for you to prepare yourself for your success. You know, when that happens, you need to know how to carve out time for what's important to you, or you could lose it. So, I mean, I've seen it happen too much in this industry. People get way too successful for themselves and they lose a couple things. This guy's not one of those guys.
It's awesome. That was fantastic.